18-year lows right now, this point. So this is something that has to be noted, and the gold reserves are at a record level over here. So this is something that has been, in fact, the source is Bloomberg, so we have given that, and let's in fact decode this further and understand this with Dr. Sharad Kohli, who is a senior economist and joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Kohli, thank you so much for speaking to NewsX. So when we are looking at these gold holdings and the yuan strengthening against the US dollars, could you help our viewers understand what is actually happening in the Chinese market right now?
Good afternoon, Shivani, to you and the viewers. Well, I think the downfall of dollar is in the making, is what I would say as a title to this whole story. Well, most of the countries around the world, they have started offloading the US Treasury investments, and they have been shifting these investments to gold. This has been one of the main reasons of the gold upsurge that we have been witnessing. I mean, let's not speak about the minor corrections which are coming in between. But strengthening of the gold prices is basically attributed to the weakening of US Treasury holdings of various countries. And China, per se, has been wanting to strengthen and globalize its yuan for a very long time. Considering the kind of exports which China does, it is now finally what China is doing is it has been devaluating its yuan time and again to boost its exports. And now I think these numbers of China's holding of gold versus US Treasury are startling. I think they should cause some kind of worry to President Trump and in his administration. Well, we should not forget President Trump has been very possessive about dollar. Every time BRICS or any other group of nations, they speak about alternate currency other than dollar, he starts getting jitters and he threatens them with sanctions and so many other things. So I feel that de-dollarization, as they say, is inevitable. And dollar is eventually going to, sink as a global currency. And this means that gold is going to strengthen further. And this will also give, create a situation rather, where other currencies like Yuan, like Euro, Indian rupee for that matter, you will find that it will become more and more, acceptable around the world. And the world trading, lending, everything is going to start happening in other currencies. Good for gold. But then I think bad for the U.S. because U.S. Treasuries used to be one of the safest investments, Shivani, for decades now. Ever since President Trump's policies of tariffs, interference with the Federal Reserve, we are witnessing Jerome Powell on his way out, his dissatisfaction with the Fed chairperson, and Kevin Marsh being appointed or nominated, shall I say, for March takeover of Federal Reserve. So I think the countries around are feeling that there is interference of the government in the Federal Reserve, which should be functioning as an independent pillar for that matter. So this is the reason, and I think Chinese holding of gold, we all know that China has been holding gold and silver both. So I think a reason for a fret for President Trump, I would say, Shivani.
All right, thank you.